There are kids in this world who are different, special. In this episode, we'll be breaking down the 21st episode of 6 Minute Season 4, piece by piece. Well, hello, Review Bob listeners, it's your son Mueller. Now, we are here today to talk about episode 21 of 6 Minute Season 4, called Getting Adam Out of the House. And we are joined here today by the voice of GZM Shows, host of podcast title Pending, Iowa Champion and the Last Dog Educators version, and GZM Rewind, Jessica Fisher.
Hello! When you list it all like that, it sounds like I really have a prolific life. Yeah, hi! I'm so happy to be here. I love Review Pop. I love all that you do, so thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been, such an honor to talk about 6 minutes and, have opportunities, just speak with wonderful people.
Aww.
And, just talk about, 6 minutes, which I love so much.
Yeah, same.
Well, we're going to kick this off with a few questions. Of course, people know who you are. But, even, just a little more, background. So here we go. How has your life, changed after stepping into your role at GZM Shows? I know you've always had a deep love and passion for the arts and theater, so how have these types of experiences furthered your, just love of storytelling in the form of audio?
Oh my gosh, that is such a great question. Prior to working at GZM, I thought of as kids media as the most difficult type of writing ever. And I think it is. I actually think it's harder to write for a family audience than to write like a horror movie or something inappropriate. You know what I mean? Because there, of course, are restrictions to be appropriate and things. But I think that working for GZM has really expanded my idea of what is family content. And it's really helped me as a writer understand that you can have the full range of experience and emotions writing for family as well as any other type of genre. There's really not much taken away, you know what I mean, when it's family audio. And when you're thinking about that focus for a certain kind of audience that's, appropriate for everybody in the family, the focus on the family is such an interesting lens to write through. So yeah, it's really helped me creatively.
Yeah, well, did you know, I guess this kind of goes back to, a previous question. Did you know what an audio drama was before you learned about GZM?
No.
I know. Yeah, I touched about this a little bit. I talked about this with Gabriella Scott, and she said that she first learned what an audio drama was when she learned French, and so I thought that was very interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think, there's just so many different ways that you can come across this, and I think it's so great, so.
Yeah, no, I had no idea. And what's funny, too, is I used to work for Ben's wife at NYU, and I want to say it was around 2017 or 2018. She reached out to me and said, hey, do you think you could do social media for a show called Finn Caspian? And I listened to it and I really liked it. I just didn't have the time to do it. So that's when I learned what an audio drama was, 2 or 3 years before I started working, was because I almost got hired in 2018 and I listened to Finn Caspian and I was like, oh.
Audio drama, it's such an interesting medium, and I feel like a lot of the times it's overlooked, just that
Totally.
I think, it should be appreciated more because, it's such a different, art, but you still are able to capture the emotions and feelings of all the characters, and I think, that's so important, and, as I kind of said, their emotions, I guess, just run through their voice. You can, tell what they're feeling by listening to them, and, that's one of the great pleasures as a listener.
Yeah, I totally agree. I love audio dramas now. I listen to them all the time.
Well, I truly do think you've done, just such a great job connecting with so many fans, and, the way that you've presented yourself in Rewind. I think, you did such a great job from the very start. So I guess, did you expect to have this kind of connection with the fans when you first started Rewind, or you first started, I guess, working at the company? I guess that kind of goes back to what you were talking about before.
No, honestly, no. So my job changed a lot because of Rewind. The amount of audience engagement and direct connection to the audience was not a thing before Rewind. Nobody was really receiving emails directly from fans. Nobody was responding to questions like that. There was no way to answer questions. Maybe on Patreon, we had a Patreon for a little bit before, but it really changed the game when it comes to being able to communicate directly to the audience. So it changed my job. I was director of social media digital marketing specialist, and then now I'm director of audience engagement because of the way that fans have engaged with me and vice versa. That would never have happened without Rewind.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think, from the very first episode of Rewind, you've just always been, super comfortable in front of the microphone. It seems like you've always been, just super, natural. So did that come to you naturally, or, just pick that up over the years?
Yeah, it's a great question. I've always really loved podcasts. I've listened to podcasts a lot, and I'm a performer, so that definitely adds an air of like knowing what's going on with my voice and in presentation. And by the time we started Rewind, I was already beginning as a voice actor. I've definitely started being, like voice acting has been a much larger part of my career now. So yeah, I was comfortable in front of a microphone. But as far as hosting a podcast, I hosted one podcast in 2020 called Best Paper I Ever Wrote, which was
Oh yeah, I know about that.
Oh yeah? It was a podcast co-produced by a great organization called Hickory Playground, where it was basically, I think that every person has written at least one very good essay, like in high school or in college. Like I wrote about feminism in the book Frankenstein. And so I interviewed people about the best paper they ever wrote, and it's basically like the idea that everybody is an expert on something random, and I want to talk to people about their passions. So I hosted that. It went very well. Just so y'all know, it's not a GZM show. There are things that are not appropriate in those episodes, so listen at your own risk. But I think that gave me the ability and the knowledge, because it was definitely a learning curve of how to be comfortable and how to, have a conversation and ask good questions. So yeah, I had some practice before I started Rewind.
I know you've written your own plays.
Yeah.
And, I think that's very awesome. And so, what you've learned at GZM and, just the podcasts that were produced while you've been there have, that inspired you to, just be able to, more comfortably reflect, your views and, helped improve your stories.
Totally. I completely agree. I'm actually working on a play right now that's about 12 high schoolers at a band competition, and I want it to be appropriate for high schoolers to perform. Whereas my other plays, I would say, are not appropriate for high schools to perform. I think I would not have been working on this play without having the knowledge of what family media is at GZM. So it's so true that I've learned so much, and it's really benefited my writing.
Well, hey, how about we get into the first clip? I got 10 clips today.
Yeah, let's do it.
Here we go, clip 1.
Get out of here, Adam.
Hey, get away from Holiday.
Easy, Badger. This is one of my better jackets.
Go near her again, I'll mess up more than your jacket.
I wrote down, this is one of my better jackets as a note when I re-listened. I love it.
Yeah, I think, Badger is, just very reasonably bitter in this situation. I think if anyone should be bitter, it should be Badger. And, I think, that's so great. And also, I think, Badger has, just been through a lot of difficult situations. It's just had a huge toll on him and, just his, his view of, Adam in general.
Playing at the exact same time in this scene is a few lines later, Adam is talking about, like, my fond memories at dinner, and he's saying it sort of sarcastically, but it's like, I also think that Bruce is in there somewhere missing and longing for this family too. But I think that Bruce is in there.
And so, yeah, I think, that's just very interesting. And there's a lot of things to look at when, you're just thinking about, these characters and what they're going through.
I'm sorry, but can someone tell us what is going on here?
Please, just go upstairs.
He is more dangerous than you can imagine. Dangerous?
Oh, they're such great actors, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I couldn't imagine being in River and Sam's situation. Just being in constant threat of, I guess, something straight out of a movie. It's just, very serious.
Constant learning new things, constant being, given new information.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think a lot about, their lifestyle. Are they just like, I don't want to live this life. I don't want to, it's just too much to take in at once, which is why it seems like, this is the worst possible lifestyle. Even if, maybe it isn't, but I think, very hard to take all of this information in at once.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in their shoes. Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't catch it sooner. Little James and Monica Anders. Turns out we've got a family reunion after all.
You know, I said this in Rewind, and I'm curious about your thoughts on it. I said, do you like how this information was revealed to Adam? Because I think there's a world, because I was like, maybe there was a world where that's how everyone found out the information. You know what I mean? Like, the reveal of them being James and Monica. You know, I like that it's not like a season-long reveal, like it was revealed pretty early. But I also think another version of this could have been everyone finding out, including Sam and River, who they are by his scent. You know, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I personally think that it's great that it kicked off the season because then we now have high hopes for everything else that's going to happen, I think.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Bigger reveals.
I mean, it's that leading, up to, what we can expect, what we've seen with other seasons. Some of those different things are, very important that we have, slow lead up to a huge reveal or, just a huge cliffhanger. And yeah, I mean, just one at a time.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm sorry. My parents were really happy together. I thought they were, anyway. And then I disappeared, and so did their marriage.
Ugh, she's so good.
Yeah, I mean, Brynleigh isn't always the empathetic type, but, in this type of situation, I think she is putting, her own problems, behind to be supportive, to be there for Kady. Kady is the only one that she has been relying on, so I think it's great that, for once, Brynleigh can do the same thing for her. We don't always see that with Brynleigh, but, deep down, I think, Brynleigh always wants to help people, just that small part of her. But we've also seen with, some other characters, she's been, just very compassionate for other people, including Cyrus.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I don't think, sometimes.
And she also knows what it's like to lose family, So in this situation, she's kind of best equipped, like she does get it.
Just that sense of empathy that both of the characters share for each other. Kady really appreciates a sense of empathy. And, it really says a lot about Brynleigh. It says a lot about, her character growth, how much she's grown since season 1.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
In my waning hours here, give me a chance to help you find another way.
Fine. But when you fail, you're going back to Juneau and leaving all this behind you.
Music to my ears.
Where do you think they're going? I know, so I can't say.
I mean, I think, they're in, such a cool place, and I think, there's a lot of musical artifacts there, and I think, I really don't have, necessarily...
Oh, Seattle! Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I think, Seattle is, one of those great places of music. There's a lot of great music, across the country, across, the board, but I think, that's just great. And also, I think, it is, I don't know, maybe some type of festival. I don't think, necessarily a festival, but, there are just, those little artifacts around town. So, yeah, I think it maybe has some sort of, historical importance or, just been, very popular amongst people. That's what I'd imagine.
I love that prediction. Also, just to clarify, fans, and you as well, I'm still spoiler free. We're just 2 episodes ahead on Rewatch. So I only know 2 episodes ahead. I'm not secretly not spoiler free. I think that's a great guess, and I will not say anything more.
What are we talking, little Jimbo? Late 80s? Early 90s?
I don't know.
Don't talk to him, River.
I can talk to whoever I want.
Why did you come here, Adam?
This whole relationship is getting very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I really love the character of River. He's willing to talk to anybody in order to protect Sam. He's been through a lot, but at the same time, he has that sense of true care. And, at the same time, I also see, just a lot of bits and pieces from James. And I think we can, depict, and, just figure out that, I guess, River has really grown throughout time into, James. James is a lot more, I guess, respectful, to people. He doesn't necessarily, he never really calls out people, and he just always, just like River, he's always putting his the people he loves first. So yeah, I think that's so great.
But he is stealing helicopters from the US military, so that's where I see the River,
Yeah, absolutely.
It's done.
You planted the bug in the Anders house?
Of course I did. Listen in at your leisure.
Excellent. Now hop on your hoverboard and go see about that anomaly in Florida.
Very interesting. I loved the bug. Big fan of the bug.
You know, just the way he presents himself is very convincing, and I think a lot of people would fall for, as we've learned, a lot of people have fallen for Jude's lies, so I think, that's just very, very interesting, and, I love the character of Jude. I think he's very, very, I think he's a complex character. We see, a lot of complex, characters. There's, main characters like this are never flat, which I think, that's just very, very interesting. Even, villains, especially villains like, Adam, and, I think we've just seen, just the different sides to every character.
I also think that he is determined to, I think he has larger plans. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that he believes he's saving the world. He thinks that this is the best for everyone in the long run. Like, I literally think he thinks that he and Brynleigh will be happily ever after. You know what I mean? Like, and that she'll be happy about it and that it'll be okay for everyone. Like, I think that he seems evil right now, but I think that his grander plans he thinks are actually for the good of everyone.
You and I could have a talk.
About?
Let's just say I don't want the robots or the mermaid to hear. Can I have your cell phone number? I'll call you.
Sure thing.
What do you think it is?
I don't know. I think, River is looking to Adam for, advice, I guess. I don't know. I think maybe he's also looking to Adam for help. I think he wants a way out of the situation.
Yeah, and he kind of gets this. I think he might see himself in Adam in the sense of hearing, okay, he was part of this family, now he's not. And he's like, I kind of want to be that. You know what I mean? I kind of want to get away from this. And you used to be in this family and you got away, in your own way.
What's the deal with this phone anyway?
Cyrus built it in his lab at Whittier Corp. It can contact people in other time periods.
It's right here,
So
in Whittier
we
Corp.
could potentially use it to call home?
A time phone?
Since Cyrus got his memory back, I think, we haven't really heard him talk about the time phone.
Time phone.
But, I think that's, I think that's something that's most certainly been on his mind, just thinking about the time phone. I think, he feels this sense of hope, that his family might find it. But, at the same time, he knows that great risk that is involved.
Yeah, I want the time phone to be utilized by people talking to their past or future selves, because I just think there's something artistically so beautiful about the opportunity to talk to yourself at a different age. Like, I want to hear that. Like, I want that to be in the show.
Ivan,
Yes, Jude?
direct me to Cyrus Anders' laboratory. I finally have my way to reach Brynleigh.
Dum da da da.
Absolutely. That was a fantastic cliffhanger. He sounds, just very confident that he can manage this situation. But, knowing what Brynleigh's gone through, I don't think that, she's done falling for stuff. She's done falling for tricks. And so, yeah, I think, Brynleigh's definitely grown a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, well, hey, thank you so much for joining me on the show. I think it's so great. I love, talking about 6 months. It holds such a special place in my heart. And yeah, I think you've brought so much to GZM, just with Rewind in general. And, it's connected to so many people.
Thank you so much. And thank you for being such an incredible fan, and for this show is incredible. You've done such an amazing job. You are such a great podcaster, and also for having me on. Like, I'm really touched. Thank you.
Until next time, this is Landon saying peace, love, and time travel.